Testing. Sounding good. It's pro-life marchers coming around the corner.
Yeah, well, once I start seeing people coming up. My phone and a note.
Yeah, come on.
Just getting a shot and angle on it.
So great to see thousands of you arriving. Can I hear a big cheer? Woo!
today, but Sheila's here to keep me
Yeah,
in
hi
check.
everyone, Sheila Quinlan here. So great to be here today and to see so many people on this beautiful Bank Holiday Monday.
Do you know what was so nice, Sheila? Just when we were walking through the crowds as thousands of people were marching together, marching for life, just to see people from all ages and stages, all counties, from all across the country. It's so encouraging.
Absolutely. I love this day every year because it's a great opportunity, as Wendy says, to meet our pro-life community from all around the country. And I get the opportunity to meet so many of you that are volunteering week in, week out across the country. So thank you all so much for being here today.
So get on the social media now and hashtag March for Life 2026. Make sure you make lots of friends today. I'm just giving people a chance to keep on walking. There's just so many people here today. It is fantastic. But you know what? It really is an honor to be here today, isn't it, Sheila?
Absolutely. And I mean, it's so great to see people of all ages, male and female, but we have to give and always have to give a special shout out to all the wonderful young people who are the future of the pro-life movement.
Woo! You see, here's the thing, guys. You are not just a crowd gathered here today. You are making history. You're on the right side of history. You are the pro-life generation. We are here to say that every heartbeat matters. Every mother deserves support, and every child deserves a chance. Hear, hear? Woo! I'm looking at all of you today. You're walking with love, and you speak with courage. But we are here to demand justice for the most vulnerable among us. Are you ready to be their voice? This past week, as many of you may know, has reminded us just how important gatherings like today really are. It's actually stomach-turning that the almost 11,000 lives that have been lost to abortion each year is not enough for the Social Democrats, because last Tuesday they introduced a bill into the Dáil seeking to abolish the 3-day period of reflection. They are trying to also widen the grounds for late-term abortion. This is something we will not and cannot let happen. I want you to think about this. Reflection isn't a burden, it's a safeguard. How bizarre is it that you wouldn't want a woman to have time to reflect and think on something that could be life-changing, life-ending, and irreversible? I mean, on things that are even really trivial, like car insurance or health insurance, you're allowed a 14-day cooling off period. But no, when it comes to a life and death situation, we don't want to afford women the time to think at all. I think that time doesn't take away freedom, it supports good decisions, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Wendy, I think, and I'm sure everyone here agrees, that it is unbelievably shocking how many of our political parties in Ireland today are literally trying to outdo each other in pushing for the most wide-ranging and liberal abortion laws in the world. We will not let this happen. We will fight any measures to broaden the abortion laws in Ireland with all of our strength. And we will continue to campaign our government for better supports so women have real alternatives, real positive alternatives to abortion in Ireland. And finally, we'll continue to support our wonderful pro-life TDs, politicians around the country who bravely stand with us and stand for the most defenceless member of our society, the unborn.
A pause can bring perspective. A little time can bring the much needed support that a woman may need. And that breathing space can make all the difference. And you know what? It's going to be great to hear from so many people who speak with courage on the issue of life today. I'm really looking forward to welcoming our first speaker shortly. But I got to get to the housekeeping stuff first, so really important. I'm going to start with something that I know is probably very important to my kids that are in the crowd somewhere, and many of the littlies. You can see the ice cream van there today. Thank God we've got the good weather. There's also the kids zone, which is on the opposite side. We've got goodie bags and stuff for the kiddies too. It's great to see so many children here today. I love when I'm going for a run or the sticker on my car wearing my pro-life merch. It opens conversations. It takes courage to do that, but hearts and minds are changed when we stand for life and we wear the pro-life mask. So get some pro-life merch today if you can. And of course, get involved on social media as well.
Absolutely. It is so important that people continue to volunteer with us, and we really, really appreciate it, and we value all our volunteers. Also, it's really, really important the financial support that we get. Unlike organisations, government funded, that are pushing hard to liberalise our abortion laws, we rely entirely on people like you to support us. And I know many of you already do, so we really thank you for that. But if you're in a position at all to give today, we would really appreciate it. An event like today costs a lot of money to put on. So look, there will be plenty of opportunities.
Lots of buckets shaken.
Absolutely, there'll be plenty of opportunities. There'll be buckets distributed throughout the crowd. And if it's a case that you're cashless, we have some machines down there under the tents over there, and you can make your way over there, and I'm sure they'll be more than delighted to take a few euro or more off you. So thank you so much in advance for donating today.
Thank you for your generosity. Okay, we get the show on the road with our first speaker, Sheila.
Absolutely, and I think it's my joy to introduce our first speaker today. I bumped into him earlier, actually, and his name is Emmett Dooly, Director of Education and Outreach for the Society of Protection of the Unborn Children in Scotland. And he's making a real impact in engaging young people on the pro-life issue. Over the past year, and I found this unreal, over the past year, among other things, Emmett, who hails from Ireland, delivered 168 presentations to schools across the UK. Wow, isn't that just wow? Please give a warm welcome to Emmett Dooly.
Yeah, I was always taught by my mother never to come to a party with your arms swinging. So, what a joy it is to be here today with you. Again, my name's Emmett, and I'm from the faithful county of Offaly. Hey! And I used to only come up to Dublin to watch Offaly win All-Irelands in Croke Park and for Christmas shopping. But to be honest, I was in Croke Park more than I was Christmas shopping. But as manager of education and outreach with SPUC, the oldest pro-life organisation in the world, under the leadership of John Deegan, our CEO, SPUC has been growing to meet the ever-changing needs in this fight for life. There's so many attacks on life, multiple attacks. But from the classroom to the courtroom, SPUC is there to fight for life. We believe in having a pathway in society. We have our tiny feet in primary schools. We have love and responsibility presentations in high schools and university. We have pro-life apologetic training for young adults and for church reps. The best thing we have as well is Project Truth, our youth initiative. We go out in the streets, just like you are here today, in a public witness, engaging people, offering crisis pregnancy support, offering free counselling for anyone struggling after an abortion and prenatal development. But we also have 61 branches across the UK, and it's great. And we have SPUC TV, if you look at them on YouTube. But look, to be honest, in school, at university here in Ireland, I was pro-choice in the case of rape. And it's the easiest thing to be a pro-choice man. Like, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to offer anything. Just no hope. But I then heard Pam Stenzel give a talk, and Pam Stenzel was conceived in rape. And what she said really challenged me. And when I heard her speak, I then looked at abortion. Really, in a real way, I looked at it. And what I saw, I wouldn't do that to a puppy or a calf or any animal. Why would I do that to a tiny human? So, in 2007, I said a big yes to God. I started working for, I started working for a Catholic youth charity, and we started traveling all over Ireland spreading the culture of life. And it was in this work I met my beautiful wife, Lucy, out there. There you go. And for, say, up to that point, I believed what the narrative was in the media, what RT were saying, that, pro-lifers were extremists, they were weird, or they were up there next to the terrorists or IRA. But when I met my wife, who was working for SPUC, she wasn't weird, she wasn't extreme, she was very beautiful, and she won me over. Then, for me, it was love at first sight. I don't know if it was love at first sight for her, but had to make a bit of effort, win her heart. But in that as well, what a great, we were married 2 years later after meeting, and then we went through a period of infertility. We were told we might not be able to have children, but we had serious fertility issues. But thanks to good old Phil Boyle and his NAPRO, we conceived our 3 children here who are marching with us today. And we have little baby Daniel in heaven as well. I just have to worry about getting the rest of them to heaven, So, but I will just say, guys, in that time now, I've had the pleasure of speaking to over 1 million young people. It's amazing what God can do with your yes, with one little yes, what that can mean to impact in this world. So, I have a true story for you now. My eldest son, Dominic, when he was 9, we were on our first ever father-son camping trip. And as a little treat, I downloaded the Moses cartoon, The Prince of Egypt. So I downloaded this cartoon, and we were watching it. And it's a beautiful cartoon, but when Pharaoh gave the order to kill all the Hebrew babies, my son Dominic pressed pause, and he said, Daddy, I'm so happy there are no more Pharaohs, because now all the babies are safe. And I said, well, Dominic, you're right, there's no more Pharaohs, but there's other things in this world that are very dangerous for babies, that are threatening the babies' lives. And he looked at me a bit perplexed. He didn't know what I meant, but I wasn't going to tell him about abortion in the middle of a field in a dark, blustery night in Scotland. But 2 weeks later, the conversation came up again, the topic came up in our kitchen. And I said, look, Dominic, in this country, the government made a law where they said a mama could kill the baby before it's born in its tummy. And he looked at me, and it was a moment when innocence left his face. And he said, but Daddy, they can't do that. If the baby isn't born, then the mamas won't get to love their babies, and the babies won't get to love their mamas. And that really struck me. When you think of abortion, that's what we're doing. We're aborting unconditional love, because that child will just love that mother, whether it's a good mama or a not so perfect mama, but all there is love there. And then Dominic, he continued, he says, Daddy, we have to go out. What's that thing when you go out in the street and you have signs and you hold them up? Is there protests? He goes, yeah, Daddy, we have to go out on the street and protest and tell the government that we have to change this law. And that's when my good wife jumped in and she said, well, Dominic, that's Daddy's job. He helps mamas to keep their babies and to try and end the abortion law. And next thing, my son looked up at me, he was like, he never looked at me that way before. He looked at me like a hero, like his hero. And guys, we are all heroes here today that are marching for life. Everyone here holding a sign, we are the heroes of this generation. So, like that, just the natural instinct of Dominic, just to say that a young child, the first thing we had to do was go out and protest. So now, guys, all I say is, ever since I was growing up, I always dreamed about winning in All Ireland, to play for Offaly, win the Liam McCarthy Cup. But guys, this is so much better. To be here with you today, and what an honour it is to march with you here today, because we are on the right side of history, and we hope the Pharaohs in Leinster House can hear us. Can they hear us? Because we want to say the pro-life movement is going nowhere. They might try to silence us, ban us from schools, take us out of the public opinion or the public discussion, or not invite us onto TV programs. But we are here. We are on the right side of history. We offer generosity, not judgment, when it comes to a difficult pregnancy. We offer free counselling and support for anyone struggling after an abortion decision. And I have received training from the Abortion Recovery Care Helpline, Arch, a fantastic charity back in the UK. They're so good. And it's what a pleasure it is to be able to hear and to care for those men and women who are struggling after abortion decisions. So, just as we are finishing up the march today, all I say, guys, is you might have heard something now, or in the speakers that follow me, something that you say, right, that's not right. There's something wrong there. Well, maybe God has put it on your heart to set it right. And all I would say is just to do it. You might not know how, where, or when you can make a difference, but all you have to do is decide to make that difference, to start. And one thing we do know, when you did this for the least of my brothers and sisters, you did it for me. So all I say is, pro-life Abu! Pro-life Abu! Pro-life Abu!
What's your name?
Maria.
Maria. Thank you so much for being here with your daddy today. Big cheer for Maria on stage. Thank you so much, Emmett. Now, I'm really delighted to introduce our next speaker. It's so important we have politicians that speak with courage and stand up for life. Well, our next speaker is a public representative for Aontú on Fingal County Council. She has such a strong reputation as a committed community activist, supporting a wide range of initiatives across the Greater Dublin 15 area. She's an inspiration to women, a consistent and fearless voice on pro-life issues, and champions something that is so important: support, practical support for women facing unplanned pregnancy. She just narrowly missed out on a Dáil seat in the most recent general election. I think she's very well positioned to make a breakthrough the next time around. It's so great to have with us today Councillor Ellen Troy.
Thank you so much. So I'm Councillor Ellen Troy, an elected representative with Aontú in Dublin West since 2024, June of 2024. And let me say this, of all the things that I've done in my life, this has to be one of the best. I am absolutely honoured to face you people. Look at you, the best that there could be. I am so proud today and so happy. I was overcome when I was asked to do this, so I'm going to enjoy this. Okay, can you hear me? Hope I don't shout too much. Okay. So, people, I'm happy, so happy to be here. You are people who are not afraid to stand up for the truth, even when it's unpopular. People who refuse to stay silent while the most vulnerable in our society are denied a voice. I am passionate. I am so happy to be here. I'm so happy to see your beautiful faces. Thank you for allowing me to speak. And the repeal campaign wrapped abortion in soft language and slick slogans. They told the Irish people it would be safe, it would be legal, and it would be rare. But look at where we are today. In 2024 alone, 10,582 abortions were recorded in Ireland, the highest number since abortion was introduced. 1 in every 6 pregnancies ended in abortion last year. Nearly 60,000 lives will have now been lost under these laws. That is their legacy, but it's not ours. It's not ours. We We, you and I, we are the people who stood up. We are more than 730,000 people who voted against this no compassion law. You and I, we stood and we were counted. And despite everything that the media threw at us, the pressure, the political pressure, media pressure, the ridicule, the smears, we are still here. We are standing and we are fighting for life. And make no mistake, some of the most extreme activists, they're not finished. They're just warming up. So we better warm up too. And just before Christmas, we saw an extreme proposal brought before the Dáil, I'll not mention by whom, that would have introduced abortion on request right up till birth. Up till birth. Thankfully, Aontú's TDs helped defeat that bill. But the margin was dangerously narrow. Are you listening? It was dangerously narrow. There were 2 votes in it. So, we need to ask ourselves, each of us here, where are the bills to support women before pregnancy? Where are the bills to support women during pregnancy? Where are the bills to support women after pregnancy? Who can you trust to bring these bills? Who? Wake up, everybody. Wake up. There were 2 votes in it. Next time, what will happen? They will ride rockshot right over us. Because next time, if we are not stronger, if we are not louder, if we are not organized, they will win. This is on the cards. If we don't have more pro-life seats in that Dáil behind us. So what you gonna do? Oh, think about it. 2 votes. That is why we need more TDs in the Dáil. Every constituency in Ireland, all 32 counties, will have men and women to stand for life. Thank God. We will have men and women in Aontú in every county, all the 32 counties, who cannot be bought, cannot be bullied, or cannot be broken. Men and women who will stand firm for life, no matter the pressure put upon them. Could this be you, or the man, or the woman standing beside you? Look around. You have a look today and take responsibility. Change does not happen by itself. These activists pushing this agenda will never stop. This very week, we saw the SOC Dems urging supporters to dig out the repeal jumpers as they campaign yet again to remove the 3-day waiting period. The media machine is already rolling into action, giving activists endless airtime and almost no challenge whatsoever. But they never tell the whole story. They never tell the stories of the men, the women, the children, the families and communities that are hurt by abortion. They never tell the stories of women pressured by abusive partners. They never tell the story of little baby Christopher, whose life was ended after his parents were wrongly told he had trisomy 18. They never tell the stories of baby born alive after failed abortions and left to die in misery and in pain. And they certainly do not tell the story of the more than 10,000 women who changed their minds after the 3-day waiting period and chose life. So over 10,000 women, that's 10,000 10,000 second chances, over 10,000 it was. Over 10,000 lives saved because of the 3-day wait period. And those are not statistics. Those are fathers, their mothers, their babies. Those are families forever changed because someone has given time to pause, reflect, and choose life. And those families have a little child to cuddle, a child to sit on their lap today. Think about it. Yet, the chair of the Abortion Law Review, Marie O'Shea, admitted to our leader, Peadar Tóibín, that she had not even spoken to any of those women. Imagine. None of them. Over 10,000. She never spoke to any. What kind of review was that ignores these women? But friends, this is why we cannot rely on others to tell the truth. No, 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 it's up to us. It's up to you and me. It's up to us. Look around you. Look at the people beside you. These are people of strength, people of love, people who refuse to measure human worth by convenience, perfection, or popularity. You guys are my kind of people. You look great. Yeah. And I am very proud, so proud to be a founding member of Aontú, the only pro-life party in the Dáil. I joined because defending life is not just another political issue, it is the issue. It is about who we are as a society and what kind of nation we want Ireland to be. And let me tell you this, we see you, we value you, we stand shoulder to shoulder with you. You give us hope. Now, it's extraordinary how so many politicians who once called themselves pro-life abandoned those principles the moment that power promotion was dawning, and the moment a ministerial car or a Seanad seat appeared on the horizon, they folded. This is not leadership. This is weakness. So ask them the hard questions. Do they oppose abortion up to birth? Will they support removing the 3-day waiting period? Did they support pain relief for babies born alive after failed abortions? And if they can't answer clearly, then they do not deserve your vote. We will never abandon our principles. We will never turn our backs on babies. We are standing in the gap for the unborn citizen of this country. We are growing stronger every day, despite every attempt to silence us, to mock us, and to shut us down. And our representatives in the Dáil are fearless because they know they are fighting for what is right. But we need you. Maybe now is the moment for you to stop supporting politicians who no longer represent your values. Maybe now is the time to join this movement, because change does not happen by accident. Change happens when ordinary people decide to stand up and fight for what is right. Imagine. Just imagine the force that we would become if every single person here today became active, canvassing, campaigning, lobbying, and proudly speaking up for life. We would be unstoppable. We would be a force for good in this country. So how do we stop more extreme abortion laws? How do we do it? We elect more pro-life representatives in the Dáil. That's what we need to do. Membership plus activism equals elected representatives. We must get active today. Remember, there were 2 votes in it. Remember that. Don't forget that. It's really simple. We just have to get people elected. The laws of the country are not made on the street. They're not made in your home, the church, or the workplace. They are made in the Dáil. So we need to get more of us in there, just in there, to make good pro-life laws. We can huff and we can puff and we can do what we like, but if we do not have action and activism, membership, we will not have seats in that Dáil. So we know what to do. We must get active. There are groups of people going around taking names. Come, support us, put your name on the list. Ireland can do better. We can do better for women, for men, for mothers and fathers, and unborn child. Abortion may now be legal in Ireland, but it will never ever be right. It will never ever be just, and it will never ever be the answer. As the saying goes, for evil to keep prospering, you just have to do nothing. Good people doing nothing allows evil to prosper. Well, let me tell you this. We in Aintu will never do nothing. We will fight. We will speak. We will stand. We will get elected. And we will never stop defending life. So join us, stand with us, fight with us, and together let us build a louder, stronger, fearless movement for life in Ireland.
Thank you so much, Councillor Troy. Okay, we have to have a record of what's happening, so I'm going to invite our photographer, Mr. McElroy. Do you hear me, John? Get up on the stage. We want to get a picture of all your lovely faces. Have you got your smiles on? Can anybody actually who did a homemade sign, hold up your signs, we want to see them. Great, because we're going to get them. I love that. Love life, choose life, love both. Without the right to life, all other rights are meaningless. Have you got a favourite, Sheila?
Oh, I absolutely do. I love all the ones with lots and lots of colour. Love life, choose life. It's fabulous. Everybody hold up your signs. Woohoo!
So we're going to get a photo exchange. You know what I want you to do? Obviously on our social media after this, we'll put this photo up. Share it far and wide so people can see what the pro-life movement in Ireland looks like. People from all across the country. And remember, you are here today not only representing yourself, but you're representing many others.
Absolutely. I always think for every individual person that's here today, you're representing many, many others who can't be here for many reasons. And you're also representing members of your family, your community, people you know that maybe at this moment aren't secretly, quietly supportive, but haven't gotten there yet, are not ready to speak up. So thank you so much. And thank you all for holding the signs today.
And as I always say every year, but I think it's so important to just keep reminding all of you, if there's one action you've taken, it could be being here today, it could be sharing the story of your participation here today, it could be some seed that you've sown on the pro-life issue. If that has helped one woman to choose life, if that has saved one baby's life, isn't it worth it? Woohoo!
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's really, really important to be able to talk to people. Sometimes the only difference you might be able to make is to talk to somebody you know on the issue in a positive, life-affirming way, and to be very, very positive about women facing unplanned pregnancy. In other words, living a pro-life message in what you do, and what you say.
Some very lovely people have been approaching me at the side of the stage with money. I've no pockets, don't be coming to me. There's lovely people in the crowd going around shaking buckets, so please be generous. I think it's time for our next speaker. Also, just to say before that, the guards, thank you so much for your help today, but they're just asking if we can try our best to keep the footpaths clear. That's really, really important. So just try to keep the footpaths clear. That would be great.
Absolutely, and I think particularly the hotel Buswells, just to make sure people can come in and out at ease. So absolutely, I'm delighted to welcome our next speaker to the stage. I'm sure many of you already know him as a TD for Cork North Central and a member of Independent Ireland. Our next speaker, since entering the Dáil in 2024, has distinguished himself as a determined advocate for unborn babies and their mothers. He has submitted a wide range of very important parliamentary questions on abortion and spoke out forcefully in the Dáil, challenging the government to address concerns to do with Ireland's soaring abortion numbers. Please join me and Wendy in giving Ken Flynn TD a very warm welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for being here today, because every one of you standing here sends a very clear message. This debate is not over. And we will not be silenced. But I want to begin with you by being honest, something that's very rare in politics today. I am a man, and because I am a man, I will never fully understand what it is like to face a crisis pregnancy. I will never feel that fear. I will never feel that pressure, the isolation. And that matters that I say that, because Ireland has a past that cannot be ignored. Women were failed in this country. Women were silenced in this country. And too often, men walked away without consequence. So I'm not here to judge women. I'm not here to condemn anyone. I am here because I believe Ireland can do and must do better for women. Because we are here for that reason. We are here because we believe, and I believe, that life begins at conception. And if a society cannot defend the most vulnerable, then it weakens the value of its place for every human life in its country. Let us look at where we are in this state. 108 babies were born alive after the abortion procedure in this country since 2019, up to 2023. 29 babies alone were born in 1 year after that procedure. I know that because I've asked the questions. And when I asked those questions, I asked, what happened to the 108 lives, Minister? I was met by silence from the Minister, and I was met by silence from the HSC. That is not accountability. And that, my friends, is not acceptable. At the same time, we are being told that this debate is over. We are told that there is nothing left for us to discuss. And yet we see efforts from the left to remove the safeguards, to expand access, to go further and further. In a year when over 10,000 abortions took place, the response from the left has been not reflection, but expansion. Go further, keep going, go further. But here is the question that matters, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Why are women still reaching that point? In this country with our great resources, Why do so many feel that they have no choice? Is it housing? Is it the cost of living? Is it fear? Or is it the lack of support? Because if those pressures remain, then expanding abortion does not solve the problem. It simply hides it, and it papers over the cracks of 49,000 lives lost in this country through abortion since 2019. So I say to you, my friends, that we need to change the course that we're on. Because if we're serious about being pro-life, then we must be serious about being pro-woman. That means support, real support, because it is not enough just to say, I choose life, if life does not feel like an option. A woman in crisis needs security, stability, support. And we must say something else very clearly to all of you. Men have responsibility. That cannot be an option, and it cannot be ignored. So let me say this. If a woman has had an abortion, she deserves compassion and she deserves respect. Always. Let me be very clear in saying that. Because in this country, we have done enough damage through shame. And we can never, ever go back to that. But compassion must mean something real. It must mean building a country where women feel able to continue a pregnancy, where they feel supported, and where they do not feel cornered, where motherhood is not a risk. Because the simple truth is, if we want women to choose life, we must build a country where women feel safe in choosing that life. Finally, I would say to you, that is our challenge, ladies and gentlemen. That is our responsibility. And that is the Ireland that we must build. An Ireland that does not turn away. An Ireland that does not abandon. An Ireland that stands for both lives and loves both lives. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been my privilege and my honor to address you here, and thank you most sincerely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ken. Thank you so much. Housekeeping announcement. A gentleman lost his phone. Someone has retrieved it for you. It's like losing an arm. A lady has it here at the side of the stage. I am so delighted to welcome my next, I'm waving her up to the side of the stage, our next guest that so many of you will know so well, because she is one of the most experienced, fearless, committed pro-life people in this country. She's been a pro-life campaign spokesperson for many years, and I'm sure you've seen her in many TV and radio debates over the last 20 years. She's also a legal consultant for the organisation. She really has played a central role in promoting the pro-life message in Ireland and really trying to curb the impact of recent changes to the law. It's great to have with us today Caroline Simons.
Hi, Wendy.
So I have many times had the pleasure of interviewing Caroline. A lot of the time it's on the phone and the radio station.
Yeah.
But one of the last times we were actually side by side was just before the referendum, and we were on the Late Late Show together.
I remember.
And in the green room, sweating, the adrenaline flowing through our veins. But when we were at that time, sadly, so many of the things that you and I talked about on that programme, the fears that we had about abortion legislation being introduced, have happened.
Well, absolutely. I mean, hello, everybody, and all you at the back. Thank you for coming. No, yeah, all the things that we said they wouldn't stop in 2018. They told us that that was all they wanted. But you only have to listen to the radio the last couple of weeks and to the Social Democrats, and you hear that they don't want doctors to have to say that they think a baby that has a very serious anomaly might die before they certify the abortion. They don't want women to have to wait 3 days. And basically, they're not trying to update the legislation, they're trying to expand the number of babies who are eligible for abortion. That's what we're looking at now, and that's why we're all here today.
I know there's one particular area, because there's so many things that we could talk about, Caroline, but there's one particular area that you really want to highlight today, and that's coercive abortion.
Coercive abortion, and the fact I want people here to know late-term abortions are happening in Ireland. And Pro-Life Campaign has asked some of our public representatives in the Dáil to ask questions, and we believe that 108 babies survived late-term abortions in Ireland. Now, we can't find out what was done with them. Were they given any medical care? Were they given any comfort? Or were they just left to die? We don't know, but we know that late-term abortions are happening, and the legislation that's proposed is going to make sure that even more are. The other thing that you were referring to that we're very concerned about is we were told all the time, my body, my choice, and abortion is all about giving a woman choice. Well, in the early part of this year, the first few months, there were 2 cases in court, one in Letterkenny and the other in Mullingar. And in those cases, women were forced by men against their will and with threats of violence to have abortions. One woman was told if she didn't go for the abortion, this lovely man was going to kick the baby out of her. And the other woman, the man came to Dublin, got abortion pills, went back to Letterkenny and made her take them and told her all about how to take them and what he would do if she didn't. Now, why are people who were for choice not screaming against this? We know that before the abortion legislation became activated, in 2018 there were fewer apparently than 3,000 abortions in Ireland. We're going to be getting the figures for last year in June, and we know that it's going to be more than 11,000. That is not rare. That is not reducing. That is not evidence of supports being given to women.
And Caroline, it's probably fair to say, Caroline is talking about 2 court cases in relation to coercive abortion, but obviously the figure of women who may experience this type of coercion or pressure is likely way, way higher.
Likely way, way higher. And the fact that you can get abortion pills online is taking away a really good protection that women had against coercion and against duress. And even the HSE has said that when the abortion provider, the provider of the pills, has to see a woman face to face, then that person is able to maybe, take a good look at her and think, is she doing this of her own free will? Is there any evidence that she's been bullied in here? But when it's just pills over the internet, there's no way of knowing. So that 11,000 figure very probably hides quite a few women who were forced to have abortions who didn't want to.
In fact, when it comes to every piece of evidence or research that's ever been done, of course, our government isn't doing it here, asking women why, what are the root causes driving women to feel they've no choice other than abortion. But every piece of research ever done, the majority of women say there was other external pressures, be it from a family member, a partner, socioeconomic pressures, far be it from being a choice. But one of the things that I think probably tells this story best is the impact statement, the victim impact statement from the woman at the centre of the recent Letterkenny case. Do you want to read some of them, Caroline?
Yeah, I'll read that. And it's so important. Just that 3-day waiting list gives a woman freedom, time to think, time to reflect. And when you take that away, you increase the number of babies who will be aborted and the number of women who will have made an irreversible decision. And as I've said several times, if you were in France and you wanted cosmetic surgery, you have to wait 15 days. If you wanted an abortion in Germany, you have the 3-day waiting period, and it's 6 days in Belgium. We're not asking for anything radical. We're saying, please keep the protection you promised us. Well, this is the woman in Letterkenny, and this is what she said to the court when the man who abused her was given 8 years. She said, when he wrongfully imprisoned me and caused the termination of my pregnancy, he took far more than my freedom. He took my child. He took my sense of safety. He took a future that I had already begun to plan and love. My baby was real to me. I had hopes, dreams, and a bond with the life that was growing inside me. And all of it was violently stolen from me in a moment of cruelty that I will never forget. I will always grieve my child. I will always remember what was taken from me. Healing does not erase the loss. It only means I learned how to live with it. I am here today to ensure justice is served and to honour my baby, my truth, and the strength it took to survive this. What happened mattered. My child mattered, and justice matters. And justice is all we're looking for here today. Justice and respect for life from its very beginning to its very end. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out.
Thank you so much, Caroline. I mean, when you hear that victim impact statement from that woman, I hope it gives you the encouragement that you need to keep turning up, keep showing up, keep being a voice for the voiceless. Because where are all those so-called pro-choice people when women like this are crying out and have suffered a tragedy, buried with their heads in the sand? So you have to be here for those women and be the voice for the voiceless. So thank you for that. Okay, now something that's really important to the pro-life movement is all of you being here today. But for me, as I exit out of the, I think I'm out of the young person category, Sheila.
Well,
youngish.
You're still in the young person category compared to me, Wendy, but listen, you're not doing too badly.
So one of the things that we wanted to do is to invite up onto the stage some young people to get a nice photo and just to encourage people here today, because not only do I see so many young faces that I don't recognize, which is great because it's just showing us how much the pro-life movement is continuing to grow, but I see faces that have, alongside myself and many others, been part of this movement for many years. So we're going to get a quick picture now. So we're going to invite young people up onto the stage to get a picture of them. So give a big cheer as they approach the stage. Should be great. Don't worry, I'll get out of the way when the young folk get up here.
I'd like to think that I'm part of this crowd, but we're definitely not. And thank you so much to all the young people who've volunteered with us today, carrying signs and buckets. It's just brilliant.
You are the pro-life generation. You are the pro-life generation. Woo! Oh, come on, a big cheer. Big Billabus. Woo! Every heart deserves to beat. That's why we're here on the street. Every heart deserves to beat. That's why we're here on the street.
Big round of applause, everyone, for all the young people. Thank you. Guys, if all you young people on the stage could wave to the crowd. Woohoo! Wave to the crowd, guys, on the stage. Thank you. And everyone on the stage, wave back. Woohoo!
All of you here today are on the right side of history. Thank you so, so much.
Oh, thank you, guys.
It is so encouraging to see so many people of all ages and stages across the country today.
And we didn't even have to ask for ID, Wendy.
Thank you so much. I hope today, from what you've heard so far, can I challenge all of you before we announce our last speaker? We're going to be wrapping up soon, but can I challenge all of you? If there's something that's particularly struck you today, a story, a fact, a person that you spoke to, give yourself the challenge of having that conversation with somebody who mightn't call themselves pro-life, but somebody who might be shocked to hear of the staggering numbers of abortions taking place in this country, of the fact that a baby's heart starts beating at 21 days. Can you challenge yourself to do that? To plant a pro-life seed? Can I get a yes? Because little by little, we can rebuild a culture of life in this country if we share the reality of what's happening in our country, but also the reality of the amazingness of the development of the unborn baby. So, we're getting ready to welcome our last speaker.
Absolutely, Wendy, and thank you so much for doing such a great job today. Yeah, we're coming towards the end, but we've kept the best for last, everyone. Our next speaker has an unshakable determination and passion for the pro-life cause, and that might be an understatement. As our final speaker for today, I'm delighted to introduce you to the CEO of the pro-life campaign, Eilís Mulroy. Eilís, make your way to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's wonderful to be here with you all today. Sometimes I get asked, what can we do to rebuild a culture of life in Ireland? There's a few key priorities that I would highlight. First, we need to engage personally, reaching as many people as possible through one-on-one conversations. Second, we must do all we can to bring to light the reality of what is happening under Ireland's abortion law. Thirdly, we need to ensure that this truth is heard using every effective means available to us. Fourthly, we must build real momentum for political change, starting with the election of more pro-life TDs and senators to the Dáil and Seanad. And finally, we must continue to demand more support for women facing unplanned pregnancy, so that no woman ever feels abortion is her only choice. We are taking action across all these fronts, but it's important to hold firm to the belief that we can always do better. Other speakers here today referenced Ireland's spiralling abortion numbers, coercive and forced abortion, the attempts to abolish the life-saving 3-day wait, and the shocking scandal of the 108 babies who were born alive after abortion over a 5-year period, with no clarity on whether they were given any life-sustaining treatment or shown any care at all in our supposedly compassionate country. The story of Ireland's abortion regime is about lives lost, women hurt, and truth suppressed. But each revelation strengthens our case. Each truth makes it harder for society to look away. It can be difficult at times to keep this fight going. Many of you know, I'm sure, what it feels like to grow weary in the face of various challenges and setbacks. Yet, when we pause and reflect on the profound dignity of the cause we serve and the immeasurable value of every effort made in defense of life, it becomes clear that this work is worth persevering in. That perspective has a way of renewing our strength and reminding us why we continue forward. As pro-life advocates, we often face challenges. I spoke with a friend of mine yesterday about this very issue, the fact that we neither expect or get plaudits for being activists within the pro-life movement. But my friend and I agreed that we don't need that. We can be sure that our work matters because we hear from women how it matters. There are thousands of people here today, and I'm sure hundreds of you, who have played some part in supporting a mother and saving a baby. Recently, I received a contact from someone who simply wanted to say thank you for the part I played in helping to save a baby from abortion. I keep the photo of that baby on my phone to remind me why we do what we do and how close that woman came, that baby came to having her life ended. Moments like that bring everything into sharp focus. They remind us that this is not abstract or distant work. It is real, it is human, and it has the power to change the course of a life. To be involved in a movement where that kind of impact is even possible is a tremendous privilege in itself. So never underestimate the importance of what you do. The efforts, the conversations, the quiet persistence. They matter more than you may ever fully see. Looking ahead, yes, the challenges are immense. Yes, the sadness is real, but so too is the extraordinary dedication of pro-life activists and volunteers. Every day, I see their compassion, perseverance, and hope. And because of them and you, I am optimistic. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here today, especially those who traveled long distances. A heartfelt thank you to our wonderful speakers today for your time, for your presence, and the insights you shared with us. They deserve a round of applause. Pick it up. Thanks to Deputy Ken O'Flynn, Councillor Ellen Troy, Emmett Dooly, and Caroline Simons. Thanks to our wonderful MCs, Wendy and Sheila, and to all our incredible volunteers for their assistance today and every time we hold events like this. Thanks to the sound and visual team, and to members of An Garda Síochána for keeping us safe. And thanks also to the PLC internal team who work tirelessly to ensure events like this come together. A warm thanks, thank you, a warm thanks to the various faith leaders, the bishops, the priests, the pastors who support this event every year. We are very grateful. I want to thank in a special way our donors and church gate collectors. These are the people who year after year stand outside in the wind and rain, quietly and faithfully supporting a cause that they believe in. It's not glamorous. There are no headlines, no applause in the moment, just cold mornings, wet afternoons, and long hours. Your generosity is what keeps the lights on and the campaign going, and for that we are immensely grateful. A Chorja Galer, let's continue to march forward together for women, for children, for life. If we stay positive, keep asking how we can do better, and combine truth with love, then change will come. Together, we will help rekindle respect for life and build a future where every mother and every child is cherished, valued, and protected. Please be sure to stick around afterwards to mix and mingle, to meet old friends and make new ones. Gur míle maith go bhfuairís agus slán abhaile.